What's up guys, Axon back with another video today, and as promised, I am back with my top 20 ranking. Now, this is going to be my ranking for a while, right? I don't think there's any top 20 characters that could be coming out anytime soon, so this top 20 is probably going to last for a while, and this is going to be probably my most controversial video yet. Now, disclaimer, this is my opinion, right? As you can see, I've changed up my rankings for this tier list, right? I got my top 5, I'll rank every single tier. Got my top 5, my 6 through 10, 11 through 15, and 16 through 20, and honorable mentions. And these are the characters I have claimed to be top 20 worthy. Obviously, there's characters like someone like Kujo Sara, that C6 probably top 20 worthy. But you know, I'm usually going this at a more of like an experienced player perspective, where like you probably in the spot of the abyss, probably like AR 55 at least. And you've played this game for a while, and this is my personal opinion, top 20. So we're gonna get into this, and first off, my honorable mentions are gonna be Goro. Goro is my first honorable mention. Now on paper, he's definitely top 20 worthy. And everything he has, he's top 20 worthy. The only problem he has that doesn't make him top 20 worthy is that he is only a Bennett Geo, right? If Geo was such a much better class, if we had better supports, if we had better DPSs, we obviously have good DPSs like Ayato and Noel, but Goro's is so niche that like on paper, he is a great support, obviously top 20 worthy, but he quite doesn't make it just because he's only for Geo. Like for example, if we had a Goro version for Hydro, he'd obviously be maybe even top 10. In my opinion, but since it's Geo, there is issues that come up with Geo class characters, because you know we don't have that many good Geo characters. All right, next up, I will say who deserves an honorable mention. All right, next we're gonna put Fischl. Now I obviously know Fischl has a lot of love, but in my opinion, I do not find her top 20 worthy. She's very good, but with characters like Raiden, characters like Yaimiko, her value kind of goes a little down. Not that I'm saying Yaimiko's top 20. I'll have that decided by the end of the video. But someone like Yaimiko and a Raiden kind of undervalue Fischl for me. And that's my opinion. Alright, now those are my two honorable mentions. I'll make honorable mentions later, but I feel like everyone else has very convincing arguments to be in the top 20. Now, first off, I'm going to first put who I think is going to be the 16 through 20 spots, and then I'll go on from there. Right, first off, Zhao, Ayato, let's see, who else would I deem to be top 20? Diona, I think Diona is a great support. Maybe Yoimiya, right? Obviously, I'm going to have a bit more than 60, more than like just 5 characters in the 16 to 20, but I'll filter them out just in a second, right? I think Kokumi is kind of like the opposite of Goro. Like on paper, she is not that good, right? On paper, if you just looked at her like kit, you'd be like, oh, she's just kind of mid. That's what a lot of us thought of her as. She was just kind of mid, just not that good of a 5-star. A lot of people said she was one of the worst 5-stars in the game, but her kit is actually very useful when it comes to the meta and like using with Kazuo and all that. Her Hydro jellyfishes is so useful right now in the current Spiral Abyss, and has been useful in the Spiral Abyss for a while, that she's definitely deserving a top 20. I don't know where I would have her ranking, but definitely a top 20. And next up is Mona. Now, obviously, this is more than just 5, right? These are the people who I deem to be at least in the top 16 to 20, and I'll put Ayato there too, right? So let me find out who's gonna be here. All right, first off, I think I want to take off Yoimiya to the honorable mention. The only reason why, Spiral Abyss is her weakness. Yoimiya is so good. Single target, she's great. If it was just one enemy in Spiral Abyss, she'd be one of the best units in the game. But we've always had so many like mob enemies and stuff like that. Yoimiya is kind of falling off. But right now, I think Yoimiya, you can make an argument. She's in the top 20. But for right now, I don't have her in the top 20. Right, next up, who do I have? Who would I take off here? Probably, does Zhao deserve to be on here? I find Ayato a better Zhao, so I think I will move down Zhao to the honorable mentions. I'm going to get a lot of hate for that one, because I know there's a lot of Zhao sims. But personally, Diana is a better support. I find Diana so useful, especially when we have so many good cryo characters that we need cryo batteries. So for right now, I'm putting Zhao down. Kokumi, Mona, and Ayato, I think they all deserve to be here. Ayato is kind of like Child, but I do find Child a little bit better. Next up, for our top 11 through 15. Now, this one is going to be a little bit harder, right? We're going to have Child, right? I think Child is unnecessary. I think we're going to have Sucrose. Where's Sucrose? Sucrose is going to be here. Venti. Probably. Where's Eula? Eula deserves to be here. Eula is a great character. In my opinion, I'm a Eula main, right? I think Eula is one of the great characters, one of the best DPS in this game. But the only problem Eula has is that she is a physical damage dealer, which kind of restricts her to a certain type of enemies. But overall, I think Eula is great. I think if she wasn't a physical DPS, or like she was like Animo or like Pyro, I think she'd be one of the best characters in the game. But that's just my opinion, and I think Eula is a great character in the game. Same goes with it all through 11 through 15. They're all great characters in the game. Next up, who I'd probably put in here is, does Jean deserve to be in here? Jean is pretty good, but would I put Jean in this type of top echelon team? Would I put Jean here? So I need one more person to put in the 15. Who would I bump up? That means I'd have to probably bump up someone to 15 and then bring someone to honorable mentions up here. I think who I'm going to bring up into the honorable mentions is probably who would I bring up to the honorable mentions? Probably, I think I'd bump up Goro. No, not Goro. Go is real good, but I don't know if I'd bump up Goro. I feel like I'm missing someone I should put here. Shenhe's great. There's an argument to be made Shenhe deserves to be here. But would I put Shenhe in here? Probably not. Yaimiko? Is Yaimiko that good? I kind of like Fischl better in the top 20 than I'd like Yaimiko. So I'd probably put Fischl. I'd probably move up, in my opinion, Arataki Ito. Right? I'm moving up Arataki Ito. And let's rank 16 through 20. So who am I going to put in the top of 16 through 20? I think I put Ayato in the top 16 through 20. I think he's probably the best one here, right alongside Kokumi. I think Kokumi is really good, but Kokumi is doesn't have a better kit than someone like Ayato, so I'm gonna put Kokumi right behind her, and then I go Fischl above Mona, and I put Mona at the end, like at the number 20 spot. That's how it goes. Maybe Fischl over Diona, but I kind of like Diona a bit better than Fischl, so I'll keep it like that. I think for this tier, I think I put Child at the end. Now, Child above Arataki Ito. Eula right ahead of Child. And then I put... who do I think is better? Venti or Sucrose? I kind of like Sucrose more. It's easier for her to get constellations. Sucrose has more free-to-play friendly. And in the Spiral Abyss, mainly floor 12, Venti's not that useful. Because there's so many big enemies. I think Sucrose, in my opinion, is a little bit more useful. So I think I like Sucrose a little bit better than Venti. Obviously, Venti is a great character in this game. You can argue that Venti is better than Sucrose, but I think I like Sucrose a little bit more just because she's a 4-star. Next up, for the 6 through 10 spots. 6 through 10 spot, I think I'm going to put probably 6 through 10 spot. I think people who deserve to be here is Yellen, Zhongli, Xingqiu, Xinglang. No, Bennett's top 5 in my opinion. Who else would I put here? Ganyu? Maybe Ayaka. And maybe Hutao. This is going to be hard to filter. Alright. First up. Right. Who's the worst out of all these characters? In my opinion, who's the worst? I think Yellen is the worst. I think Yellen's good. Obviously, she is a 5-star Xingqiu, but I think Xingqiu is better. So I think I'd put Yellen at the end of at number 10. She's really good. I'm not saying she's bad, but being a 5-star, make her harder to get constellations. Xingqiu, you can get easier constellation. Xingqiu's been in the game since like day one. Xingqiu's really easy to get. Very easy weapons for him. Better energy. Better to get energy compared to Yellen. So I'd probably put Xingqiu above Yellen. So put him right here. And I think I'd put Zhongli above Yellen as well. Because I think, you know, Xingqiu is a better Yellen. And Zhongli is kind of like special in what he does. And like Zhongli, in my opinion, he's kind of the only one who could do what he does at this type of tier, right? Obviously, we have someone like a Toma, someone like a Diona who gives great shields. But Zhongli is obviously the best shielder in the game, and it provides so much support for Geo. You know, it can obviously like stone characters. Zhongli, just great. Good Geo resonance. Obviously, the best Geo character in the game as a support. So I think Zhongli just deserves to be over Yellen because, you know, Yellen is not that good compared to Xingqiu. So I think Zhongli, we put him above Yellen just because of how niche and good he is. So next up, who would I put above here, right? I think I put Hutao above Zhongli. I think Xingqiu is a little bit more valuable than Hutao. I find that obviously you need Hutao, but without Xingqiu or Yellen, Hutao is not that good, right? You can obviously use someone like maybe a Child, maybe an Ayato, but like Hutao without a Xingqiu or Yellen is kind of unusable. Maybe if you can use Kokumi, you can work around that. But there's not a lot of characters you can use to help Hutao as much as someone like Xingqiu. So I think since you need Xingqiu so badly for Hutao, I think Xingqiu just goes above her. Next up, we're going to need to bump a couple characters up here. I think we bump up Ayaka and Xingling. I think that's how it goes. I think Ganyu's great. I love Ganyu. A really great character in the game. But when it comes to her playstyle, it is this aim shot and then ults. Her ult is really good. Her E's decent, right? It's just taunt, you know, gives you a couple of frees. But I think Ayaka and Xingling, I find them more valuable. Now we get to the top 5. I think the 6 through 10 is probably going to get a lot of people mad. The 6 through 10 is probably my most controversial tier because these are all great characters. In no debate, all of these guys are great characters. But when it comes to the top 5, I think we kind of know who goes here. First, let's go with our rest of our honorable mentions. Jean, Beidou, Rosaria, Shenhe, and someone like Albedo and Noel. Right? If I was to rank them, I'd probably put who's the best out of all of these guys. Probably Shenhe, Zhao, Goro. I don't feel like ranking the honorable mentions because like all of these guys are kind of on the same tier. So like I'm not going to rank the honorable mentions. I'm more focused on the 20 through 5 spot. All right. Next up, top 5. Right. Here we go. This is going to be kind of controversial, but kind of not controversial at the same time. So who do I think is the best character in the game? We'll get to that. Right. First off, who do I think is the worst character in this game? We're just going to put all these guys. This is not ranked, but we're just going to put all these guys. Who do I think is the worst character in this game? In this top 5 tier list. Obviously, these are all great characters, right? These are all top 5 characters. But out of the top 5, who do I think is the worst? I think it comes down to Xingling and Ayaka, right? Some of the best characters in the game. I've underrated Xingling for a very long time. But I think when it comes down to who would I rather have on a team, I think I'd rather have Xingling over Ayaka. I think Ayaka is the worst of the top 5. Obviously, the best DPS in the game, you could say, because you can consider Raiden a DPS, but she's kind of like a burst DPS. So I'd probably have Ayaka as probably the best DPS in this game. When you like show like a burst DPS, well, they're kind of both burst DPS, but I kind of find Raiden a little bit better. But obviously, that's just my opinion. I think Xingling is just a little bit above Ayaka for how useful and, you know, how switchable Xingling is. She can be on like so many teams and be so useful. Xingling's so good, and she is often underrated. But I think we don't underrate her as much as we used to. I used to underrate her a lot, but I think Xingling is definitely top 5 worthy. I like her more than Ayaka, but you can definitely make the case Ayaka is better than Xingling. They're probably neck and neck, but I think these top 3 is kind of solidified in my opinion, right? Out of the worst of the top 3, who would I put? I think Raiden is the worst. She's really good. Electro's obviously one of the worst elements in the game, but somehow she makes Electro so great. Obviously, excluding Beidou, because Beidou doesn't work with Raiden. But Raiden's a great character of the game. Raiden has her Raiden national team, which is one of the best teams in the game right now. And so many great Raiden teams. I personally like using Raiden and Eula together. I know that sounds kind of weird, but they work great together. Raiden just has so many teams. A lot of the top 20 characters in this tier list work so well with Raiden. Raiden just deserves to be top 3, no question. I think however, end of top 3 now comes down who deserves to be number 1. Right? We got Bennett and Kazuo. These are the characters who I think are the best 2 characters in the game. Obviously, Kazuo has his rerun, so I do suggest you pull for Kazuo's rerun. Kazuo is such a great character in this game. But who would I rather have on a team? Bennett or Kazuo? Now, I've been thinking about this long and hard. Pause. Goro is kind of like Bennett. We have a lot of characters who are trying to be like Bennett. Someone like Yellen, buffing characters. Someone like Shenhe, lowering resistance and all that. But when it comes down to it, I think Bennett is the best character in the game. Now, I'm not saying Kazuo's worse than better. I think they're kind of neck and neck. You can make an argument that Kazuo's a bit better because he does more for a team, right? Because Bennett's like the buffer. That's what he does. He buffs and heals, which in my opinion, when it comes to it, I think supports are more valuable in this game than DPS. That's how I think. I think supports in this game are more valuable than DPS. So when it comes down to it, Kazuo is more of like a burst support. You pop out his ults. You have a lot of rotations. You have to go with it. He's very good for quick swap teams. Kazuo, just a great character in general. But I think Bennett, when it comes down to it, when you're building the best team in the game, you have to have Bennett on that team. When you're building the best team in the game, Bennett is always on the team. When you have speed runs, when you have highlights, when you have anything where you have to look the best for in the game, you go with Bennett. Bennett's just the best character in the game. No matter what you do, if you want to be the best, if you want to do the best in this game, I think you have to have Bennett. So I think Bennett, in my opinion, is the best character in the game. Now, I'd like to know your top 20 characters in the game. Obviously, my top 20 characters in the game are very different from your top 20. So I'd like to know who's your top 5, who's your 6 through 10, who's 11 through 15, who's 16 to 20, who's your honorable mentions. Obviously, my tier list is not perfect. I know that. I'm not some enthusiast who's looking at all these statistics, who has all these facts, but this is all from my personal experience and looking up videos and hearing what other people have to say. So don't take this as fact. This is just kind of like a rough guide of what I think is the top 20 and where they place in this ranking. Obviously, if you skip to the end, you'd probably be, oh, why is this character there? Oh, I'm going to dislike this video. Obviously, skip to the end, you're not going to know why I put this character over this character and stuff like that. So I please say, if you skip to the end, watch the video. It's very easy to get lost in the end of the rankings, because you just be like, I want to skip through the video. Oh, what's it called? Mona's at the end. Why would I build her? Mona's great. Mona's a great character. She can buff. She does everything good. But I just think, Mona's just probably the worst of the 20. But I'm not saying she's bad, because being this top 20 is great. And everyone that's honorable mentions, you can make an argument that they deserve to be 20. I believe Zhao could arguably be better than Mona, but Mona's just so great for newcomers and so great for Spell Abyss players that Mona deserves to be here. And I hope you enjoyed this video. This will be one of my quicker videos when it comes to tier list. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, and make sure to like and subscribe, and let me know what you guys think. I'd like to hear criticism, but just keep that criticism polite, and let's not try to hurt each other in these comments. I see a lot of comments where it's like, oh, you're dumb, you're an idiot, you're all this, right? Don't say that, people in the comments. Just try to be civilized and try to be nice to each other. I don't want to raise a toxic community, because I know how toxic Genshin fans can get. So just try to be nice in the comments and have civilized debates. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and see you guys next time. Peace.